Hey everyone! So, if you've ever felt like you need a translator just to keep up with the world of artificial intelligence, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to clear all that up. We're going to build the entire AI family tree, from the very first big idea all the way to the stuff that's literally changing our world as we speak.
Okay, let's just get right into it. It's a total mess of acronyms out there, isn't it? AI, ML, GenAI. It really can feel like alphabet soup. But what if I told you they're all just different generations of the same family? That's what we're going to do. We're going to map it all out so it actually makes sense.
So, first up, let's meet the original ancestor, the very top of our family tree, artificial intelligence itself. This is where it all began. At its heart, AI is really just this huge foundational dream of making machines smart. It's the entire field of science dedicated to giving computers the power to reason, to learn, to see the world, and to make decisions, just like a person would. And to make that a little more real, just think about asking Siri for the weather. There's a whole lot of thinking that has to happen in a split second, right? The process of understanding your words, going and finding the answer, and then speaking it back to you. That whole digital brain, that's AI. So now, let's move on to the first child in our family tree, machine learning. And this is where AI learned a really revolutionary new trick: how to learn all by itself. Here's a really great way to get a handle on machine learning. You don't give a kid a long list of rules for what makes a cat, right? You just show them a ton of examples. This is a cat, this is a dog, and eventually they just get it. Well, that is exactly how ML works. It learns patterns from data, not from a bunch of rigid instructions. And that's what's so revolutionary about this. It's a total shift in approach. Instead of a programmer writing out every single step for every possible task, they just feed the machine tons of data and let it figure out the rules for itself. It is literally learning from experience. Machines can learn in a few different ways. There's supervised learning, where you feed it labeled examples, like a million emails already marked as spam or not spam. Then there's unsupervised learning, where it just finds its own patterns in the data, like grouping online shoppers together. And then there's reinforcement learning, which is all about trial and error, like a self-driving car getting rewarded for a good turn and penalized for a bad one. Shows just how much of our daily lives are already powered by ML. You know that feeling when Netflix just knows what you want to watch next? Or when Amazon pops up a product you didn't even know you needed? Yeah, that's not magic. It's machine learning doing its thing. Okay, so let's meet the next generation in the family, deep learning. This is where the machine's ability to learn got a massive, massive upgrade, and it was inspired by our own biology. I love this comparison. If standard machine learning is like studying with flashcards, clear labeled examples, then deep learning is like being let loose in a giant library to just explore and make all kinds of connections on its own. It can handle massive, messy, unstructured information and find these incredibly complex patterns that we would never see. And the way it does this is by using something called artificial neural networks, which are these really complex systems modeled directly on the structure of the human brain. And it's that brain-like structure that makes deep learning so incredibly powerful for understanding things like images, human speech, and complicated text. And what's wild is that this super advanced tech is probably in your pocket right now. Your phone recognizing your face to unlock, that's deep learning. An app transcribing your voice into text, that's deep learning. A self-driving car identifying a pedestrian, you guessed it, all powered by deep learning. Neural nets have gotten better and better over time. They started out pretty basic, just for simple patterns. Then we got CNNs, which are built to see images by recognizing little features like edges and corners. After that came RNNs, which have a sort of memory, so they can understand sequences, like the order of words in a sentence. And that evolution brings us to the latest game changer, transformers. These things are masters at understanding context, because they can look at all the words in a sentence at once to figure out what's important. And that last step, the transformer, that was the key that unlocked this next incredible chapter in AI. It's what made it possible for an AI to not just analyze stuff, but to actually create something totally new. And that, my friends, is generative AI. And to the most famous member of the family right now, the one that's grabbing all the headlines, the artist, generative AI. So, this right here is the fundamental leap. This is a huge deal. We're moving from recognition to creation. All the previous AI generations we've talked about were about analyzing data that already existed. Generative AI is the first one that can produce something totally new. And that's its defining characteristic. It's a creator. It takes all the text, images, and code it's learned from, and it can generate brand new essays or photorealistic images or working code, all from just a simple prompt you give it. And you've definitely seen these tools everywhere. ChatGPT, Midjourney, Copilot, these are basically household names now. This technology has jumped from science fiction straight to a practical tool that is already reshaping how we work. From writing emails to developing software is already huge. Of course, you've got the big, large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. But it's also being used everywhere by marketing teams to brainstorm ad campaigns, by companies for smart customer support bots, and even by programmers to help write and fix code. So, we've gone from an AI that can think to an AI that can create. But what's next? Oh, the journey isn't over. We are now heading into a brand new frontier. AI that doesn't just create, but an AI that acts. This is what may be most forward-looking generation, Agentic AI. This is where the family tree takes a really bold step from creating things to actually doing things. This analogy is just perfect. A tool like ChatGPT is a brilliant assistant. It does exactly what you ask it to do when you ask it. But an agentic AI, that's more like an employee. You give it a goal, and it figures out the steps, uses the tools it needs, and takes action all on its own to get it done. The key words here are autonomy and action. These systems don't just sit around waiting for your next command. They can plan a multi-step project, go and execute those steps, and then learn from the results, all without a human holding their hand. All right, so let's bring the entire family together for one last family portrait. Let's see how they all relate and just how much the capabilities have grown from one generation to the next. This summary shows the whole evolution at a glance. We started with the big idea of AI mimicking intelligence, like a simple chatbot. Then, ML learned from data to give us recommendations. Deep learning used neural networks for complex stuff like face detection. Then GenAI started creating brand new content, and now Agentic AI is starting to act on its own. Just look at that progression in autonomy at the bottom, from low to very, very high. It's incredible. So if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this right here. This is the entire journey in 5 simple verbs. AI started with the goal of thinking. Then it evolved to learn, then to understand deeply, then to create, and now it's beginning to act. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question. We've gone from simple imitation to autonomous action in just a few generations of this incredible family tree. The only question left is, what in the world will the next generation be able to do?
Thanks for watching. If you learned something new, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more lessons.